Hello and welcome to Comply Express. My name is Mark Lindsay, and together with my business partner John Shell and our lead engineer Neil Busby, we've created SmartCert. SmartCert is a compliance management tool that is intended to be used by manufacturers and importers of products to help smooth their certification process. SmartCert we believe to be completely original. I don't believe there's anything quite like it on the market at the moment. It's intended specifically for manufacturers and importers of products to ensure that their compliance is being met, and it's backed by experience. So it's backed by the parent company Product Approvals, who is a engineering consultancy that has been in the arena of certification and global market access since 2006. The main benefits of the product are that it's accessible, so it's accessible to everybody within the business, that it's current. We monitor the legislation and the standards and send out emails and have a traffic light system internally in the software to demonstrate or show when projects need to be updated. Another aspect is that it demonstrates or identifies the mandatory and the optional requirements for products. So, for instance, a laboratory product needs to meet low voltage directive, EMC directive, ROS directive, etc., as well as the identifying the standards, i.e. 61010, and the relevant Part 2s for the relevant for the type of equipment. The other thing is that it's consistent, so everybody within the business is doing the same thing. It's all stored in the same location, and everybody is able to view that data when needed. Some of the tools and how the compliance management works are that it identifies the requirement. So at the start of the project, when you create a project, you tick a series of tick boxes as to what is applicable to the product and answering a series of questions, and from that it will generate what we call a compliance strategy report. And that identifies what legislation is applicable to the product and what standards are applicable to the product. You can then use that information to go and carry out testing or carry out evaluation against those regulations. It then creates a structured document control area with information that prompts the user of what information is needed, i.e. safety reports, EMC reports, ROS data, WE regulations, the design file, i.e. schematics, mechanical drawings, wiring diagrams, etc. So all that information is prompted, and all of that information is based on a technical file that is mandated by the relevant directives. It's evidence-based, so you upload the evidence. Once you're happy with the evidence, you then have people with the correct authority to sign off on that evidence, and it monitors, and so it also gives a project status. So as you're moving along the project, you can refresh it. It shows you on a bar chart how far through the process you are. The software also incorporates a series of design tools. So the first one, the CSR bot, which is the compliance strategy report tool we've already spoken about. But we also have creepage and clearance, so you can identify the creepage and clearance requirements to go on a PCB or other aspects of a product by typing in the various characteristics: over voltage category, pollution degree, withstand voltages, etc., and it will tell you based on whether it's basic insulation, reinforced insulation, or supplementary insulation as to what distances are required between 2 points. There's a technical report form that can be generated. There's flammability tools, so you populate again, a series of questions, and it will identify what flammability requirements need to be met for certain plastics, whether it's holding plastics, whether it's holding live parts, and whether it needs to be V0, V1, etc. There's a labeling tool, which again, you populate or answer a series of questions, and it will create a report that demonstrates or shows what labeling, mandatory minimum labeling, is required to be on the product. There's a declaration of conformity tool, which will populate the directives and the standards, and it populates it in all of the languages for Europe. And there's also a test plan tool to identify what testing is needed to be carried out. One of the most important aspects of compliance is the continued ongoing compliance of a product. So as changes are made to the product, you need to make sure that your technical file and the relevant testing has been completed. So SmartCert has a function in it to help you go through that. It maintains the revision status of the technical file as design changes are made. It populates or creates a design change process where you upload your evidence. So for instance, if a transformer was gone obsolete, you need to replace it. You then need to evaluate how that has impacted the certification process, whether additional testing needs to be done, whether the BOM needs to be updated, additional evidence for ROSH, etc. needs to be included. And that updates your technical file and maintains your technical file to ensure that it is always up to date. And that's one really important feature of the SmartCert. Another really important feature is Standards Watch, which is whereby we monitor the legislation and standards that are integrated into SmartCert, and it will create a traffic light system when your project that are affected by certain standards go out of date or new updated standards become available. We have a traffic light system to say when IEC standards have been released, then you don't need to do anything. When they've been integrated into the official journal and you do now need to do something, whether that be a gap analysis or additional testing, and then once the date of withdrawal of the standard has been removed, it will go red and tell you that you're no longer in compliance. So, but there's normally approximately a 2-year transition window between when a new standard comes into the official journal and when the old one is removed and no longer gives presumption of conformity. And we will tell you when that happens. So it will give you plenty of time to identify changes and understand what needs to be done. And the final aspect is, of course, the cost of SmartCert. It's on a monthly license agreement, a monthly cost. It is dependent on the size of the business, the number of employees of the business. It's not limited to the number of users, so every person in the business can have access to it if need be, and it's not limited to the number of standards or the type of products that you create. I hope you've enjoyed listening, and I hope it's of interest to you. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.